every side. In the darkness is the light. Out of the shadows of my life. In the darkness is the light. In the darkness is the light. Surrender will win the fight. This girl's walked on fire and ice, but I come out on the other side of
Before Supernatural, and before I personally got into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, there was Disney Channel's So Weird, spanning 3 seasons from 1999 to 2001. Basically a children's version of the X-Files, So Weird follows Fiona Fee Phillips, a 14-year-old paranormal enthusiast investigating strange occurrences that show up in her life. The final season passed the role on to another girl, Annie, for a far lighter tone that made the show utterly forgettable. The first 2 seasons, however, are pretty awesome, with some pretty serious themes about death, faith, parent-child relationships, and the unbreakable power of familial love. The premise is that there's this pop singer, Molly Phillips, on tour, and she's brought along her children Fee and Jack. Her husband, Rick, died in a car accident, and they're all still getting over that. Also with them is another family consisting of Ned, Irene, and their sons Clue and Carrie. Ned is Molly's head roadie and ex-biker, and he homeschools the children. Irene is Molly's manager. Clue is a lackadaisical goofball, but he believes Fee to a fair extent, and he helps her out a lot. Carrie is an older teenage boy, dealing with issues of responsibility, and he is more Jack's friend than Fee's. They all travel around America together on a bus, playing at various locations throughout the country that are also incidentally host to paranormal events. Fee is a smart, computer-savvy girl with her own paranormal website called So Weird. This was at a time when it was pretty exceptional for any kid to have a website, let alone an active community site, and niche subject encyclopedia. So Fee comes across as a bit of a genius, even though the technology is a bit dated by current standards.
Cool. Primitive, but cool.
On the other hand, she's kept realistic by having her intellectual ability primarily come out through her passions, and she struggles through educational materials like most kids. Her older brother Jack is the Scully to her Mulder, the skeptic who doubts her every time she reports the strange goings-on. He's kind of a jerk who teases her a lot, but he never gets that mean and he's still likable. It quickly becomes apparent that their beliefs come from how they deal with their dad's death. Fee wants to believe that he could contact her from beyond the grave, while Jack believes that death is the final end, and his disbelief comes from it just being too painful for him to consider. We get the impression that he believes a few times, but he never admits it. Though it's never gone into, because of executive meddling, there's a whole history about Molly that's alluded to. She and Rick used to sing together as the Phillips Kane Band. After she lost her husband, she became an alcoholic but sought treatment. Her most popular song, In the Darkness, used as the show's theme song, is actually about that awful time in her life and how she got out of it, seeing the light in the darkness. An unusual line from the song, which sounds initially to be simple nonsense that happens to rhyme, makes sense in the context of her admitting that she can't live her life that way. Molly's issues often come out in song, which provides a nice musical element to the show as well as illustrating her feelings.
I wanna be more like a river, less like a wall, not try to hold back these feelings at all.
Most of the episodes have a Monster of the Week format, though the paranormal entity isn't always of an antagonistic nature. Sometimes the episodes will involve a monster of some sort, like the werewolf or the vampires, but sometimes it's just a strange obstacle like the gremlins, or something mysterious and intriguing like the artifact from Atlantis. The episode where Fee uses an instant messenger program to talk to a coma patient, represented in her mind by the Proud Family's Kyla Pratt, isn't really paranormal at all so much as science fantasy. It couldn't really happen, but it's not what I'd call paranormal. As the show goes on, there's this overarching story about Fee uncovering a great magical conspiracy about her family. First, Season 1, Episode 8, Strangeling, introduces the idea that Fee is from a line of witches from Molly's side of the family, the O'Shannons, and that Fee is named after her great-grandmother, who was rumored to be a witch. Fee is able to use a family spell book, but she has no understanding of the spells and accidentally frees a dragon that she has to get back in the book. Rick's sister also alludes to Fee's interest in the supernatural being significant for some reason that Molly doesn't want Fee to know about. Then it's revealed in Season 2, Episode 12, Strange Geometry, that Rick himself was a passionate paranormal investigator, and that Fee has been following along in his footsteps without even realizing it, as he died when Fee was too young to really know him. Season 2, Episode 4, Nightmares, also indicates that the night he died, he had been on his way to investigate something. When Molly returns to her childhood home to make peace with her cold, tough father in Season 2, Episode 11, Banshee, we learn more about that bloodline's significance. Fee has inherited some ancient powers that are represented by her thumb ring, which her great-grandmother Fiona gave as a pair to Rick and Molly. The circumstances of the gift imply that great-grandmother Fiona was a witch and knew something about Rick and Molly. When Fee sees a banshee herald her grandfather's death, she goes out into the woods to confront it. The banshee takes Fee to her boss, some mysterious unseen entity, and Fee tries to persuade them to not take her grandfather.
There is a balance. Some die. Others live.
A balance? What balance? You took my father when I was 3! How fair is that?
It was not we who took him.
What do you mean? Tell me!
At the same time Fee confronts the bringer of death, Molly confronts her father by singing a song with double meaning about both her father's relationship with his home country Ireland and Molly's relationship with him. Molly also wrote Gaelic into the lyrics, and as she sings passionately, she actually casts a spell that affects Fee along the mystical link between their rings, and Fee gains power over these beings.
Your grandfather will not die. For now.
In Season 1, Episode 13, Will-O-the-Wisp, Fee encounters recurring villain Brick Ryu, a body-stealing parasite who possesses Jack. Brick Ryu is pure evil, and really fun to watch.
After your moss traversing spunkies, decoy the man that late and drunk is. The blazing, cursed, mischievous monkeys delude his eyes, till in some miry, swampy sunkies, nevermore to rise.
He makes Fee a deal that if she can guess his name within 1 hour, he'll let Jack go, but if she can't, she'll have to be his lifelong servant. She ends up using a computer program to generate every string possible, each submitted as a guess, until she hacks his name and gains power over him. When he's sweating and desperate, he offers to let Fee talk with her father, says he chose Jack on purpose, and that they don't like her meddling in magical business. All tantalizing hints. But Fee doesn't surrender any of her power to him, and she saves Jack. You can't keep a good villain down, though. At the end of the episode, he promises he'll be back. In the Disney Channel tie-in website, viewers got to read transcripts of conversations between Brick Ryu and his evil boss, a wraith kind of character designated as N/X. Though I'm not sure that's an actual character name so much as a reference to the Nexus, the dimension where Brick Ryu lives, between Earth and the spirit world. Through these transcripts, it becomes apparent that there is some alliance of evil supernatural beings. They caused Rick's car crash because they couldn't allow him to mess with their business. They're now worried that Fee presents the same problem and they'll have to do something about her. In Season 2, Episode 15, Destiny, Brick Ryu is sent to take care of things.
A creature in my body lies. It wants to make me big sometimes.
Mom seems like she's, in a good mood.
He possesses Molly and tricks Fee into a circumstance where both her and her mother stand a chance of dying in a fire. As a parting taunt, he reveals that his people killed her father by ripping his soul out of his body. Fortunately, Fee's encouragement causes an ex-firefighter to gain enough confidence to rescue them. Brick Ryu's boss is displeased with his minion's failure, and says he'll have to intervene himself. Season 2, Episode 22, Vampire, reveals that in addition to investigating the supernatural, Rick actively fought against its more evil elements. An evil vampire who survived Rick's assault tries to take revenge by killing his family. What's creepy is that even though Fee and Jack subvert him, all the vampires get away. At the end of the episode, we even see one of his minions spying on her through the window of the moving bus.
Creepy.
Finally, in Season 2, Episode 26, Twin, Rick makes contact with Fee. They agree to meet on a rooftop, but the Wraith shows up and goes after Fee. It knocks her off the edge, but Rick shows up and protects her. He stays with her for a bit to give her some memories of him to help protect her. Before leaving, he lays a hand on Jack's shoulder, and it's implied that Jack is somewhat aware of his presence. Rick hanging around as a ghost to protect his family is a recurring theme, beginning with Season 1, Episode 2, Website, when he helps Fee avert a crash. In Season 2, Episode 19, Troll, he saves Fee by giving her the answer demanded by an evil troll who wants to turn her into a vegetable to eat.
Oh my God!
And the answer is the name Faith, an overt message about how Fee should have faith both in the supernatural and in otherworldly protection. An interesting instance of Rick's visitation occurs in Season 2, Episode 24, Encore, when Rick visits Molly to sing with her on stage. They sing one of their old duets, Another World.
And she asks, is this all there is? Won't this ever end? There must be a better place. Looking for I'm not sure salvation lies there. There is bad as well as good. Let us love each other now, as if this world is all there is.
Now the full context is apparent, where Molly was worried about Rick chasing after another world of supernatural entities. Rick expresses worry that it could be bad because of the existence of evil. Molly urges him to stop chasing it because it might not exist, and they should just love each other. It also has another, more mainstream meaning that runs along simultaneously. I think it's that Molly used to worry about life, and she would ask Rick to comfort her by assuring her that another world, as in an afterlife, exists. Rick would say that he thinks there is another world, but he's not sure it's a good world because of the existence of evil. They conclude to just love each other and appreciate the moment because they don't know if an afterlife exists. That is pretty deep. The show has a loose Christian Protestant mythology, with angels, souls, the image of an angel having power against vampires, and Brick Ryu making passing references to heaven and hell, in which he prefers the latter because the former is too boring. But there is immense respect given to those who don't believe in the supernatural. We care about Jack and respect him in believing that there is no afterlife because we want to see him work past his sadness. We respect Molly's struggle to embrace Fee's beliefs even though she doesn't share them. Finally, we appreciate Molly's desire to live like there is no afterlife, even when there's a ghost right there, proving to the viewers that there is. That's similar to the often quoted Angel Season 2 Episode 16, Epiphany, where Angel has the epiphany that if nothing we do matters, then all that matters is what we do. If there is no bigger meaning, then the smallest act of kindness is the greatest thing in the world. That's a lot of respect given to atheists, even though it's right up against Angel's realization that there is a higher power looking out for him. Joss Whedon is heavily praised for that. 6 months earlier, So Weird did basically the same thing on a children's show on the Disney Channel. Awesome, right?
Hello, Fiona.
Beautiful sunshiny day, huh?
Yeah.
And then there's a third season.